What's going on, everyone? Donovan here. Welcome back to the Donovan Show. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I know a lot of you have been watching, and I appreciate that, but please subscribe so you can be notified of what comes up next as far as videos. Well, guys, it's been a while. A lot of things going on. Fall is in the air, that's for sure. And today's video thought blog is called Clean Your Room for a lot of reasons. And if you're not one who likes to clean your room, I suggest you turn this off. But if you like thinking about things in maybe a different perspective, you might want to hold on. And this might be a little bit long, so I want to warn you ahead of time. Just some thoughts, the thought behind cleaning your room. Alright guys, so when I was younger, I had a room growing up. Now the first one I had that I can remember, I didn't really value it that much. I was probably I had it up to about, I may have had it for about 4 years, probably up to the time I was 8 or 9 years old. But then we moved duplex to a house where I had my own room. My room was upstairs. You go up these stairs and there's this room before my room with the door. And I remember going into the room and I had my own closet. I had a window that I could look down into the neighbor's driveway. I can look onto the street. I can look into the sky at night. I had my bed. I had all these things in my room. My closet where I can hang my clothes, where I can hide, where I can do things in secret. My bed, my source of comfort where I can lay my head. And those were the days. That was my personal space. That was my personal area where I could be. And my mother would always say, clean up your room. And I was like, yes, Mom, sure. No, not really. I hated cleaning up my room, and I enjoyed messing it up more than I did cleaning up. And thinking about that now, that was when I was 9 years old. Now that multiplied several years. I think about life and just that thought of cleaning up your room, where at first it started off as your own personal space. This is your room, your however square feet or feet it was. This was your room, your area where you can dwell in some sort of comfort and some sort of independence, some sort of secrecy, but it was your room. And that's how it starts off. It's your room. But as I've gotten older and realized some things, I've seen that room expand into not just my room, my personal space, but how it interacts with others, how others perceive it, how others can help it, how, depending on how I keep my room, how I can help others keep theirs clean. So it's shifted, that thought of cleaning my room, over the years. So what do I mean by that? That your room expands, cleaning your room throughout your life. Well, I want to break it down in kind of 3 ways you look at it, or I look at it. One, as I shared before, in the beginning, it was my area, it was my space where I could dwell, where I could wrestle with my mattress, where I could have my cousins over, we can just tear up my room basically, or I can go in my closet and and hide from things, or hide things, pick out my clothes, my wardrobe, whatever. Yeah, those things. It was my area, my space. But as life goes on, it expanded into more like my place or role in the world. And thinking about that, as you move out of your room, move out of your parents' house, and in different situations where you get roommate, that space area becomes a place and a certain role for you to play. That this is your place, but it's not just your place, not just your space. You share it with different individuals, and you have a role to play. You still have to clean up your room, but you have a role to play of keeping at least your area. Um, no matter what place you go to, that's your role. To keep your area, your space, still your room clean. Clean your room still is an expansion. The third area, and the most important overall, is your life, your character. To keep that clean. What do I mean by that? Well, when you first get your room, you give a direction on how to keep it clean. I know with my son growing up, I used to show him a certain way how to clean up his room, and it was clean to me. Now, of course, he can imitate that. He can take that to heart, or you can just let it slack off. As I went on in life, and as I had to look at my life from time to time, is that the way I was taught to clean up my room, I can get better or I can be worse at it. It's up to me. And that's what I mean by life, just in general, and in your characters, that's part of your room. That's an expansion of your room. Remember, we talked about in the first part your personal area, your space. And then the second part, I talked to you about just a place in your role. But the third spot, overall, your life and character, you got to keep clean. And it's not just a space you dwell in, a personal space you have as your comfort. It's up here. It's up here, right here. It's your heart and your mind. Taking care of those places, that's your room. And I know some people may not think about it that way, but it's true. It's yours. It's your independence. It's your responsibility to take care of your room, whether it's that area or space, that place or role, your life, your character, because God's given us that responsibility to take care of it. Nobody can take care of it except for us, and that, of course, we can get help, but overall, we're the main ones to take care of our personal space, our room. That's what I want you to think about today. The thought of cleaning up your room, how are you about that? I know for me, it keeps expanding. I remember when I was working at this amusement park at one time, and I had kind of really had my first official roommate. I've had roommates, family members, things like that, but it's different when you have what seems like complete strangers at first. And I remember my roommate asked me at the time, how are you at cleaning up your room? Are you messy? Are you kind of semi-neat, which means that you clean up every couple of days? Or are you just flat out fanatic? You got to clean up every day. And I remember sharing with him and thinking about it. Yeah, semi-neat. I don't like to be uptight about that every day. That can be kind of crazy, but every couple of days I keep check on what's going on around me and how I clean up. Why am I sharing this? Well, I think as the year is ending, we're in the third quarter as I'm making this video. It's October. That a lot of us don't think about our room as much. Cleaning it up, we want to blame it on somebody else, or believe somebody else has to clean up our room. And I'm talking more than your actual room, the room with the four walls and the windows. You can look out into the outside world, or the closet you can hang your clothes in. So much more than that. It's your mind, it's your life, it's your character. It's how you treat people. That matters in the thought of cleaning up your room. And I remember when my mother used to say that just to cringe. I would cringe about, just the thought of it. Yeah, you can be kind of feeling awkward or overwhelmed with cleaning up your room, but it has to be clean. If you don't clean up your room, nobody else will. If you don't clean up your room, that's how things get lost. And imagine that with this. If you don't keep yourself clean mentally, you get lost. If you don't keep yourself clean emotionally, you will get lost. You don't keep yourself clean spiritually, you will have no direction. So it's important, guys. I wanted to share with you today. The thought of cleaning up your room shouldn't be a negative thought. It should be one that you respect, one that God has given you. And I want to share this. Now, this is it's ironic that this is one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible because it's so against what it's kind of a rebellious. You want to rebel against scripture, but in all really respects to God and just life, it's so important to think about, to really put into perspective. I'm going to share from verse 7 in Hebrews 12. It says, endure hardship as discipline. God is treating you as sons. For what son is not disciplined by his father? If you're not disciplined, and everyone undergoes discipline, then you are illegitimate children and not true sons. Moreover, we have all had human fathers who have disciplined us and we respected them for it. How much more should we submit to the Father of our spirits and live? Our fathers disciplined us for a little while as they thought best, but God disciplines us for our own good, that we may share in his holiness. Key scripture here. No discipline. Seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. When I hear the scripture, I think about definitely relationships, my relationship with God, but I think about before that, the relationships that were formed, that kind of formed my room with my dad, my mom, my stepdad, that they did as they thought best for me. But God does overall what's best for me, period. Now, I don't always agree with that. Key and point, clean up my room. Nothing that, the things that I have to do as far as cleaning up my room spiritually, mentally, emotionally, they're not going to be pleasant at times. Life is not a smooth roller coaster. It's never smooth, but you have to get through those kinks to get to the end of the ride. So it's never pleasant at the time, and you will go through pain emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically, but that's all part of cleaning up your room. And what does it give you in the end? It gives you a righteousness, not a self-righteousness, but it gives you a point of people looking at your life and looking up to you and seeing you as an example, a good example. But I like the other part, peace, because if I keep my room clean, there's a peace behind it. I don't lose track of things. I don't forget things. I see things in an order that that will help my room be a pleasant view to people. That will help my room be welcoming to people. Whether it's the room I'm in, the place I stay, the life I live, my personal character. that is inviting to people. Um, the thought of cleaning up your room is important to me, and it should be important to you too. That's my video thought blog for today, guys. I'm glad to be back. It's been a while, but if you haven't subscribed yet, definitely like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next video. Donovan out. Peace.